Hi everyone, it's Annie, and today I'm here to give you some recommendations for Women in Translation Month, which is every August, also called WIT Month. As you may know, I very much enjoy reading translated literature, and I have a lot of books that I want to recommend to you today, so I'm going to give you some of my favorites. I've tried to have a pretty good variety here, so it's not just all from like one or two countries. I've tried to go from all over the world, so let's get started. First, one of my all-time favorites is Breasts and Eggs by Mieko Kawakami. She is just an absolutely stunning author. We read this for the Found in Translation Book Club, which I'll have some information about in the description and up above. This was a 5-star book, hands down. This was amazing. It has two stories. One story is about a woman's sister who is obsessed with getting breast surgery, and another part of the story is about the same woman who wants in vitro fertilization and wants to raise a child without a husband. So this story is just so amazingly well done. It takes such a great look at the state of women in Japan today, in Japanese society today, and it's just absolutely phenomenal. I can't express enough how much I love this book. And I cannot wait also to read Mieko Kawakami's other works as well. She has 2 that are out right now in English, I believe, so I really want to get to read those next. The next novel is by an Argentinian author, and it is Tender is the Flesh. This is a really well done horror novel. It is quite short. It's quite scary in like a very visceral sort of way. It definitely has a lot of political commentary in it, especially about like animal rights and environmentalism and things like that. I don't want to give away the twist, but the ending is extremely scary and disturbing. There's a lot of disturbing things in there because it is a horror novel, but basically in this society, humans are raised kind of like cattle or pigs are today for human consumption. So this is a cannibalism story. So it's just so good. I really didn't know that I was gonna like it as much as I did, and it's just amazing, and I definitely want to read more of this author's works. Now, a book translated from Korean. It is Human Acts by Han Kang. Now, you might have heard of her other book, The Vegetarian. I actually like this book much, much better, and I don't think it gets as much hype as it deserves because it's kind of overshadowed by The Vegetarian, it's a good book, but it's not my taste. This is absolutely my taste. This is a fictionalized version of the historical event that happened in Gwangju, South Korea in the 1980s called the Student Uprising, which was basically a series of protests calling for the democratization of South Korea in the 1980s, and it focuses on the death of one boy, which is fictional, but through this lens, Han Kang really gives you a really great analysis of the Gwangju uprising and all the politics that go along with it and the human experience, which is why it's called Human Acts. And I just loved this book. I really enjoy I find Korean history extremely interesting, so this was definitely up my alley. Han Kang also has a great, wonderful book of poetry that I never see anyone talk about, which is called The White Book, I believe, and every single poem focuses on something that is white, like snow or laundry, hanging, drying, and things like that, and it is just so beautifully done. Just wonderful, and really should get more attention. The next book was translated from Spanish. It is Fever Dream by Samantha Schweblin, and this book is a little bit hard to describe because it really does read like a fever dream. It is about this woman who wakes up in the hospital and there's this little boy there that is talking to her, but he's not her son. It is just very strange. I really don't know how to explain it to you. It does have a lot of interesting things to say about environmentalism, and it is quite short, so it's a short read, and it really just makes you go like, whoa, like I don't know what I just read, but it was powerful. So I know that wasn't a very good explanation of the book, but it's just so hard to explain. The narrative, the way it's told narratively is very, very unique. It's just amazing, and it has a wonderful creepy vibe to it as well, because you're kind of questioning what's going on throughout the whole thing, and I just loved every minute of it. And then for another Japanese author, we have Yoko Ogawa. I happen to own The Housekeeper and the Professor by her, but my favorite book of hers is The Memory Police, which is a dystopian novel about a novelist who lives on this island where everyone on the island forgets certain things and no one is allowed to talk about them. No one even remembers how life was with them, except for this novelist and a couple of other people who are like mysteriously immune to this phenomenon, but they can't talk about it because the memory police will get them. And it is just so good. If you like dystopians like 1984 or Fahrenheit 451, you will love this book. I gave it 5 stars. It was amazing. This book is very strange. It definitely has a different tone than her other work. This is more of a literary fiction book. It's about this housekeeper who goes to take care of an old math professor who has a short-term memory problem. And I don't want to give away any more than that because it's quite short, but it is really beautiful and heartwarming, so I definitely recommend this one as well. And then for another Korean novel, we have Chon Nam-ju's Kim Ji-young, born 1982, and this is another novella. Basically, it is about a woman named Kim Ji-young who is kind of a stand-in for the every millennial woman in South Korea, because this is the most common name for people born in 1982. And she is having a sort of mental breakdown, and she's taken to a male psychiatrist to deal with that. And you learn about her life story leading towards her mental breakdown, where she basically mimics the voices of other women in her life. It's a very strange book. It wasn't quite what I was expecting when I read it, but it was definitely extremely powerful. And like Miyako Kawakami's Breast and Eggs, this does an amazing job of looking at the status of women in Korean society today, so it's definitely worth a read. And the last book I'd like to talk about is translated from Polish. It is Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead, which every time I talk about it, I just need to stop for a minute because that title is just so metal. I love that title choice so much. This is a psychological thriller about this old woman who lives alone in a little Polish town outside of any big city, and it's very rural, and mysteriously her neighbors start to die. And she thinks she knows what's going on and who the killer is, but no one will believe her. And I just love it so much. It has kind of an unreliable narrator thing going on, and the main character is also really obsessed with like zodiac stuff, so I thought that was really interesting. I just loved every minute of this. It was such a great thriller and a really great translated work as well. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you got some recommendations for what to read during Women in Translation Month. For the Found in Translation book club, we are actually reading Violets by Shin Kyung-suk, which is translated from Korean for this month. Shin Kyung-suk is a very well-known female Korean author, but this is the first work I'm going to read by her. I have not started it yet, but I'm very excited too. So if you want to join us for that, definitely check out our Discord down in the description below. And let me know also in the comments what your favorite Women in Translation book is, because I need more recommendations. Okay, so if you like this video, please like and subscribe to my channel for more bookish videos, and I'll see you next time. Bye!